Hello, welcome to the talk on mapping the brain with AI technology. I welcome every participant and every viewer of this particular topic, that is brain and the mapping of brain with AI technology. This is being presented by me, Professor Dr. Dipamita Mondal. I'm a postdoc research scholar. I'm doing my postdoc at an international level, and it is basically into AI/ML field. I have done my PhD in brain communications, that too from an international level. Currently, I'm working as an IQAC coordinator, professor, and head, Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science at Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Engineering and Innovation, Varali, Pune campus. The agenda basically of this particular talk is on, I'll be speaking about introduction to brain mapping, role of AI in neuroscience, the techniques for data collection, interpreting brain mapping results, ethical considerations in AI research, and future directions in brain mapping. Now, what exactly is brain mapping? Or we may say that when, as a kid, we started studying the human parts of the body, we all were very much enthusiastic in knowing what exactly a brain is. And during our 12th standard or our different sessions in the practicals of biology, you may all must have seen there was a specific attraction towards the brain, and all the students used to run towards the miniature models of the brain skeleton. So then we are talking about brain mapping. Now, what exactly is brain mapping? Let me tell you that when we talk about brain, every day there are alpha, beta, gamma, delta, so many waves which are continuously flowing through the thoughts and the processes that is going on in our brain cells. Our brain is made up of multiple neurons, and so many anatomy and functioning of the brain is a very complex structure to study. So right from the year 1991, there was a lot of work that started being done on brain. Like a lot of research papers were there, how to understand what the brain is thinking, how to understand and correlate the different brain technologies, how to exactly map what our brain is going to process in our day-to-day life. And there comes how to map the brain. So brain mapping is basically referring to a set of techniques used to study the anatomy and the functioning of the brain. What is the purpose of the brain mapping? Why we are trying to map the brain? It is because we want to study the brain structure and the functions of the brain. Once we are clear how the brain works, and as we know that multiple functions and whatever we are doing in our day-to-day life, everything is controlled by our neurological activities and the functioning that is going on. So we can diagnose and treat any neurological disorder that is going on in our brain. When we are able to diagnose and treat, definitely we are able to guide the neurosurgery and research work. Now, how this particular brain cells and different type of activities that are going on, we are trying to capturing them. We all know of EEG headsets. EEG headsets had been a great thing that we had seen when the headsets were electroencephalography. So we were trying to capture the different thoughts that were there in the brain, and based on the different frequency levels, alpha, beta, gamma, delta waves, we were able to define and design what exactly the brain is thinking. We all know that brain is nothing but a supercomputer, and it's trying to, work into different fields like CT scans, MRI, different things are going on. So what is this MRI? MRI is nothing but a magnetic resonance imaging. So you give me a brain with some different kind of activities that is going on in the brain. We can find out what exactly is going in the brain through the MRI scans, CT scans. And if we want to check that particular signal's functions, then we can use functional MRIs. We can have EEGs, we can have PETs. A simplified brain map image showing different labeled regions can be a set in where we are trying to work with the brain map. Coming to the next slide. Now, we must say that the neuroscience and the artificial intelligence is working hand to hand, and they both need each other some or the other way. So this integration of artificial intelligence. Now, what exactly is artificial intelligence? What do you mean by AI? We all know intelligence, right? That yes, some kind of intellect is required in order to map the different situations that are there in your day-to-day life. So, what exactly is AI? How you can integrate AI in neuroscience? So, for that, the first thing that you have to do is you need to understand the mapping of the brain. You need to analyze the complex data sets. Now, how these data sets can be taken into consideration? There are various online data sets. Even you can check on different types of brain signals that you are interested into. There are different levels, like you're very happy, you can get into some wave. You're very sad that day, depressed, so you can get into some wave. So all these are different kinds of wave sets, which I'm calling about, the same which I said about alpha, beta, gamma, and all. So by analyzing this complex data set, your AI will enable the researchers to identify patterns and connections within the brain that were previously elusive, paving the way for breakthroughs in treatment and understanding. Now, earlier when people wanted to study brain, there were a lot of insertive methods, like putting a lot of rods in the brains and then working on the brain-to-brain cells and then finding out. So, all these insertive different type of surgeries which were there, which was called as invasive surgeries, that was very difficult to handle because a lot of patients, they died because though being they have given consent and everything, but it was difficult for them to cope up with the after effect surgeries and all what happened. But somehow that was the only way to save them. But as science advanced, neuroscience advanced, so different kind of non-invasive technologies like EEG headsets, capturing and the brain signals, then extracting the features and exactly on which particular feature the processing needs to be done. That was done. In the year 2018, artificial intelligence, when came into picture, it became rather more easy because now we started studying the data modeling sets, and that was a breakthrough in the treatment and the understanding. So as we continue with the AI capabilities, it is very important that we interpret the brain functions. Okay, so a brain as a whole would function differently from subject to subject. I would also like to say that if today the brain is having these thoughts at some point of time, it may be feeling a better thought at the other point of time. So the subject's thoughts keeps on changing, because of which the data sets keep on changing. So somehow you have to reach to your goal and set certain goal that yes, these are my data sets, this is the proper range. Now, when I talk about a brain emitting thousands of waves, it is not possible for anyone to, study all the waves at a time. So somehow the researcher must understand that yes, my potential is to study only this particular rows of data set, and I will be picking up those particular data set where you can see lot of variations. Because when you see lot of variations, you will have different kinds of outputs and outcomes. So different types of outputs and outcomes will help you to get different mystery of neurological disorder, enhancing the cognitive function, thereby enhancing the research. This will offer hope for countless individuals worldwide. So it is very important that you are through with mapping the brain. Coming to mapping the brain with AI, now different things can be done with this. One is the neural network. What does the neural network means? It will stimulate the brain activity. It will enable the researchers to analyze complex data patterns in neurological studies effectively. When we talk about brain, we talk about different kind of brain signal patterns. So it is very important for the researcher to analyze what kind of research pattern he is more interested in. Once he has identified his pattern, suppose he has certain pattern like from 20 hertz to 120 hertz, this is what my brain signal is going to work, and this is my data set on which I'll be working. So you have to first set a short-term goal for yourself. Just talking about analyzing a brain, we just cannot jump into like getting into the complete brain communication. So that will become very difficult. That yes, I want to study the brain all at once. No, you have to study the brain part by part, analyze what kind of patterns your research is interested into, and you have to neglect the other patterns. And you need to state in your research also that this is out of scope for my research. So once you have identified your pattern, then you can work on the data analysis of it. So AI, when you are using amalgamation of AI with neuroscience, this AI will help to analyze the data sets and give you a proper data analysis, which will be processing vast amounts of information, revealing insights about brain functions and disorders previously hidden. So once you are focusing more and more on certain kind of pattern, then definitely you will be able to really reveal more insights into those functionalities or the disorders, whatever is encroached with that. Then what you can suggest? Then some personalized medicines may be there that AI can identify a tailored treatment plans based on individual brain mapping, improving the patient's outcome significantly. Now, this also requires a huge database learning. So, without a huge database learning, a personalized medicine cannot be issued. So, your model must be AI trained. The way you are trying to design your AI model, it should be so much trained that if you have that data pattern from the brain, you are able to suggest a proper medicine to that particular brain neurological disorder. So that is what AI with brain mapping is checking on these points. Right. Now, what is the power of brain mapping? Now, how this brain mapping in your neuroscience or artificial intelligence would help? This is nothing but we are trying to explore the neurological connections in the brain and their impact on human behavior. We know that we must have heard most of the time that he had a nervous breakdown. He had, he was okay yesterday and today there is a nervous breakdown. See, daily there are a lot of thoughts in the background which are going on in our day-to-day life. One day we feel happy, the other day we feel sad. One day we are over enthusiastic, one day we are heavily lazy. So somehow we need to understand the neural connections and we need to understand what kind of impact it is doing so for our brain, human behavior. So if you see the photo over here of the brain cells, there are different neurons, different areas and different scannings which are done and a lot of data. What do you say? Data are collected in this way. Maybe from subject to subject you can collect. Suppose you can have 4 to 5 patients who are going through a vegetative state, that is a coma state, and you can start scanning those particular patients' brain through some MRI, fMRI, whatever, CT scans, and then you can collect these kind of data through which different parts can be understood. Like yes, this part is growing in this particular place. This part is you must have seen in movies also this kind of brain cells, and then they say you are in second stage of coma. The patient is in third stage. Doctor analyzes those things. Is the cortical positioning of the brain neurons and the areas at different part of the face. So that ways, power of brain mapping helps in that particular thing. So we need to explore the intricacies involved with the brain mapping techniques and the applications. So how? For that you need to understand certain brain mapping techniques. Like there are three particular parts like peripheral nervous system, central nervous system, and respiratory signals. Now these three important systems and signals, they provide very clear and distinct brain signals. So researchers in the research work, they are working mostly on the PNS signals, they are working on the CNS signals, and they are working on the RS signals. PNS refers to peripheral nervous system, CNS refers to central nervous system, and RS is nothing but the respiratory signals. So researchers mainly they focus on these particular signals and they try to filter these signals using certain brain filters, hybrid filters, and then depending on the signal they get as an outcome, those particular brain mappings are put up into challenges and how to solve it using some medical treatments. Are there any other post diagnosis things that you can do? Coming to the understandings of the intricacies of brain function through advanced mapping techniques. Brain mapping provides insights into how different regions interact, revealing the complexities of cognitive processes through various imaging techniques. So this is very important that when we talk about brain mapping with AI, the first thing is we must know how the different regions interact. So brain, since it is a very complex organ and a very complex subject of our body, we must know how the different regions are communicating with each other, interacting with each other. And this will help in various imaging techniques. Different images of the brain can be considered for the same. The basic way when we study brain mapping is we are trying to apply the brain mapping in neuroscience and mental health. So these techniques are crucial when we talk about diagnosing the neurological disorders, guiding treatment plans, and enhancing our understanding of mental health issues through visual representation of brain. Now, brain mapping, it is a very crucial part. Again, I said, as researchers must be able to visualize what allows the researchers to visualize and understand the brain function and structure effectively. So, you can see that here there are a lot of lobes of the brain which are present, super lobes, superior lobes. So, when you talk about doing a research in brain, understanding the brain is of prime importance. And also, there are different nerve cells, neural cells, which talk to each other, and that must be somehow interactive, and somehow those signals must be having from a data set where actually you are knowing what exactly the problem was with the patient. Now, what are the different kind of techniques? As I said, they evolved significantly, the brain mapping techniques, and with the traditional techniques like EEG and MRI, now complemented by advanced methods such as fMRI and PET scans, allowing for a deeper understanding of brain activities and their implications on behavior and mental. So, see this picture, the brain is completely a very complex part. And definitely, for understanding the brain images, it becomes very important that the functional MRIs are a boon nowadays to understand the complete picture of the brain. Now, brain mapping reveals how our brain functions, helping us comprehend complex neurological processes and advanced medical structure. Now, when we talk about the peripheral nervous system or the central nervous system or the respiratory signals, the central nervous system is a very dominant kind of signal. And so, a lot of things you can analyze on the central nervous system, like efficiency of that particular signal, efficacy rate, you can understand. Then, upper cutoff and lower cutoff frequencies you can talk about. Then, you can talk about the density level of those particular signals, and what kind of different functions that are needed when you talk about, neurological processes. And a lot of medical institutes, they are currently working on AI modeling. So I would rather suggest the researchers and those who are wishing to, combine the neuroscience, brain mapping, and artificial intelligence and data science, is that I may suggest certain things like, suppose I enter a room, and what is like data science, and what is like data modeling, what is data handling, what is machine learning, what is data science exactly. Now, suppose I enter a room, and on the room is completely a white room, and there are a lot of formulas which are written on that. And it is very difficult for someone entering the room to remember all the formulas. But definitely, there must be some interrelation, correlation, cross relation between all these formulas which are written on the white wall. And so comes the data sets into picture. Now, once we have all these formulas, what we can do, we can think that how these formulas can be modeled in such a way that we can suggest a proper artificial intelligence tool which can save all these formulas, and when needed, they can create those particular artificial intelligence algorithms. So basically, when we talk about AI mapping with brain or brain mapping with AI, this is nothing but we are trying to give algorithms in artificial intelligence to run the brain signals. So, this is somewhat a very big boon for the coma patients or the patients who have lost consciousness. And so, different kind of algorithms through AI modeling, through database modeling, through data visualization can be done. What is AI's impact on neuroscience and how it is transforming the research methods? Now, there are some neurological and neuroimaging advancements. What does AI applications in neuroscience help with? Now, when we talk about AI, it is nothing but it is enhancing the neuroimaging techniques, allowing the researchers to identify patterns in the brain activity. And this will help improve the diagnostic accuracy for neurological disorders. When we talk about predictive analytics, it is nothing but with predictive analytics, we are talking about AI modeling, which can forecast the potential neurological disorders, enabling earlier interventions and personalized treatment plans tailored to individual patients. Now, you may be thinking that why this particular predictive analytics or how this predictive analytics can be useful for the doctors. Now, like suppose we as a patient approach some doctor, And there are certain kinds of brain patterns or some kind of brain things, like today we are remembering the things, tomorrow we are forgetting the things. So what kind of brain patterns are going on in our thought process? So if AI can generate certain kind of algorithm which can, pre-identify my problems, pre-identify or diagnose my problems, yes, after 6 months, this is going to be my condition. And based on that, I can be given an early diagnosis. So somewhere my brain can be saved, right? Because most of the time, the deaths and whatever we can see, everything is because of the late stage retrieval of the data, that yes, you are at the fourth stage, you are at the final stage. And so AI applications can really help into this. But again, the AI must be fully ready with the good data set and data modeling, so that it can help in earlier interventions. For the neuroscience, again, I said neuroscience and AI can have a great get together together. The only thing is, one must be able to communicate and amalgamate them better. Now, what is AI's role in neuroscience? AI technologies are revolutionizing our understanding of the brain, enabling breakthroughs in diagnosis and treatment. So, as I already mentioned, that the most important AI role would be collecting of lot of scientific useful data. It is very important that, see, when we talk about data, there is a lot of data that is available in the market. So, as I said, that once we enter a white room, what is going to happen? There are so many formulas written on the wall. So we have to pick up the formulas which are required for our research. We just cannot blindfoldedly go to some particular pick up some research, pick up that particular thing and just start working on that. So somehow we have to be concise. We have to keep our data sets, limited. Now, most of the students who are into research of brain communication, they approach me sometimes asking me, ma'am, I have 19,000 columns of data, and I have so much of data, what to do and how to analyze. My supercomputer is not able to take so much data. Now, this is very important to understand that as a researcher, it is not possible for you to study the complete data set you received as it is. Somewhere you have to minimize your data set. So it may happen that you are studying on the first 20 channels of the data that you have received as a data set in terms of brain in Excel. So suppose you have received certain kinds of alpha, beta, gamma waves, and you have tried to store all those waves in which you are receiving from central nervous system or peripheral nervous system, and you are trying to keep everything on an Excel sheet. Then it would be very easy for you to understand that yes, this is what I require, and I will be working on the first 20 channels. And the researchers, they have trauma like, ma'am, how to work on 19,000 rows if asked. Now, see, being a researcher, it is completely your lookout that no, I will be working on the first 20 channels and I will be deleting the next 21 to 19,000 channels. The reason for that is, if my 1 to 20 channels, they are working on the you know uh, feature extraction or on the processing that I accept from my research, and you can just select a small part of your signal, and then you can start processing that particular signal. You can work on that particular signal. And it may happen that after some time you try to get certain startups that no, this is my milestone, this is my benchmark, this is where I stop. And then you can, have more data sets added to your present study. But please make sure that you are, when you start your research work, please don't end up studying full 20,000, just for an example, channels. And a small channel can also give you the same kind of result. And if you feel that the results are getting intimated, they are just same to same, then you can select patches in your brain signal patterns, that this frequency may be from the 1 to 20 hertz frequency I'm studying and the last frequency I'm studying. So it depends completely on the researcher how much he wants to feed his AI as a tool, AI tool, what all things, brain AI tool, what exactly he wants to feed and how much he wants to make his data model learn. Right. So what do you say? The freedom is completely in the hand of the application developer. AI and the brain, exploring the AI's impact on neuroscience now. Different kind of neural data and predictive modeling nowadays we are seeing. Now, what is this predictive modeling? As we talk about predictive analytics, predictive modeling is one such thing which is working on predictive analytics. So, predictive analytics as a whole is a very different kind of tool which you can create, which can have a lot of databases, which will keep all your neural data together and help in the predictive modeling, thereby having a basic impact on neuroscience. The integration of AI technologies, when we talk about in neuroscience, it has transformed our understanding of the brain. So, by analyzing the complex data patterns, AI can help identify neural connections and predict behaviors, providing insights that were previously unattainable. Now, earlier there was no data itself because when we are talking about the years 1970, 1976, 1980, all this was, the researchers were not getting subjects who were ready to, that yes, okay, you can check these things and I donate myself as a, to work. Even the patients, family members were not ready that subject. So, lot of education was missing during that time, which right now has changed a lot. And people themselves come up saying that, yes, I'm ready for this research work. What kind of research work I'll be getting into this? And because of this, the neuroscience has advanced a lot, exploring a lot of advancements in brain research and technology. So, when these AI technologies you are trying to embed in the neuroscience, definitely the understanding of the brain would be better because now AI would try to help it. No, this brain activity is totally different. You will be making a lot of algorithms which will be based on your brain patterns, and those algorithms will be responsible for understanding or predicting your behavior. So, that is how AI's impact can be on neuroscience. Now, let us talk about AI in neuroscience. AI in neuroscience is exploring the intersection of AI and neuroscience. Now, when we talk about the collaboration, it will be basically on the capabilities and the treatment options that you are having. So, as AI continues to evolve, it will hold the potential to transform our approach to neurological disorders. So, definitely, we are trying to work on certain unattainable brain patterns. Even today, we have seen that a lot of GBS was one case in Pune. So, just through water, the person was getting into different kind of neurological disorder. So, every day, some or the other threats to brain mapping and brain challenges are going on. So, I can see that AI is learning day by day. AI is having an opportunity to learn day by day, and somehow the different AI tools are getting developed so that whatever was not measurable before is now getting into a measurable state, attainable state, and the outcomes are better when we try to intersect AI and neuroscience together. Now, there are certain effective techniques for data collection. For accurate analysis and informed decision making, data collection is very important. Now, whatever AI tool you are creating, that should be a good decision maker. That is very important. Like your AI should be a good decision maker. It cannot be a confused AI tool. So somehow it is in your hands how you are making that AI model read, AI tool read your data patterns. Techniques such as surveys, interviews, and observations provide valuable insights into trends and behaviors. Each method has its strengths, allowing researchers to tailor their approach based on specific objectives. Utilizing technologies such as online platforms and data management systems can streamline the collection process. So both qualitative and quantitative methods will enhance the robustness of your data. So you just, as I told you, you have just selected a certain kind of brain sets that yes, I want to work on this certain kind of brain sets. Somehow you feel that yes, my quality is now increasing. I want more quantity. Then you can have a collaborative, data set which is giving you a quality as well as quantity as well. So combining the qualitative and the quantitative methods will enhance the robustness of your data, thereby ensuring that comprehensive results will reflect realities on the ground. So the right techniques will lead to meaningful conclusions and impactful strategies. Please, once again, please don't confuse your AI tool because when we talk about AI, we talk about a human brain who has developed that particular AI. And a human brain can be confused with a lot of brain patterns and all. But when we talk about AI, we are writing a fixed set of algorithms. So algorithms should not be confused algorithms. They should be very predictive. They should be, because somehow, see, everything is going into neuroscience. So we are working on brain cells. So when we talk of embedding AI into brain, so we have to be a lot more ethical and responsive when we take up this particular challenge to do research in brain mapping using AI. Now, what are the techniques for data collection? Surveys and questionnaires. We can have surveys and questionnaires to gathering qualitative and quantitative data from a large group of respondents. Now, these respondents may be depressive patients, happy people, depressive people, coma recovered people, the people who are back into their lives after they were in a vegetative state for a long time. There are observational methods. Definitely, this is a very physical type of method, systematically watching and recording the behaviors or events to gather contextual information in real time. So, this is very important that whatever data sets we'll be getting it in online, that is real time to that particular time. But when actually you'll be sitting collecting those data through EEG or MRI, that's the real time data. So, you have to work on the online data as well and the real time data as well, what you are getting through. So observational methods will play a huge round of applause if it is doing good in that particular case. Then interviews and focus groups will allow for in-depth discussions, providing rich qualitative insights that surveys may not capture. So this is very important that you are working on, in-depth discussions. You have panel discussions of brain mapping in AI. So these are different kinds of data because the most collaborative way sharing knowledge. So nothing can be more when we talk in a group and we try to get an in-depth knowledge which is going to help us provide and discuss rich qualitative insights that surveys may not capture, because most of the time surveys are not that much serious or people are very quickly giving you surveys and something like that. But when we talk about observational methods and focusing into qualitative discussion, GDPIs and all that will be definitely helping more way of data collection. So that's how you can start your research working. So these are some of the data collection techniques that you may get. So surveys, gathering feedback through structured questions, analyzing responses for meaningful insights, reaching diverse populations for broad and data, observational studies, collecting data in natural settings, recording the behaviors without interference. Now, this is also very important when we talk about brain subjects. Recording their behavior is very important because when we talk about collecting data, behavioral patterns of the brain are something which is a challenging for the researcher to attain to a conclusion that yes, this happened when this wave passed, and then comes identifying the trends through real-time observations, of course. By interpreting brain mapping results, understanding the neural connections and the implications. Now, brain mapping will utilize the advanced technologies to visualize and interpret the brain activity, thereby helping into emotional responses which can enhance the treatment strategies for various neurological disorders. So, insights into brain mapping results is very important. So, how result, what kind of result, qualitative, quantitative result you are trying to understand through certain brain activity patterns will help you understand and visualize the neural connections and areas of interest will be more clear through that. Then understanding the brain mapping will result into concept one, which is neural connectivity patterns, and concept two, which is functional brain activity. So the neural connectivity will help you reveal how different brain regions interact and communicate, whereas the functional brain activity will indicate which areas of the brain were engaged during those particular communicative tasks. So that again, mapping those particular results is very important. So one set is neural connectivity patterns, the other set is the functional brain activity that must be taken care of. Now, when we talk about interpreting the brain mapping results, there are four set of things which are very important. You must be able to do the cognitive function assessment, which will evaluate the brain's activity levels. You should be able to do the data visualization techniques, that visual tools will simplify your complex brain mapping data. Then clinical applications overview, understanding impacts on mental health treatments, and future research directions must be there, that is exploring the advancements in brain mapping technologies. When we talk about understanding neural activity, it will be a lot of neurons, how the brain is interconnecting and what is their impact on the cognitive functions. One word and one line, there is a topic called in Neuroscience Journal, understanding the brain is the first step to unlocking its potential. What are the ethical considerations? Now that this is very important when we talk about brain, and since it is human people who are working on this. Earlier, the we all know that mouse were used as study of the brain. Why? Because if you see the brain of the human brain, and if you try to compare it with the brain of a mouse, you will find that the brain of a mouse is the miniature model of a brain of the human brain. So the miniature model was more into picture and under the telescope and microscope and different ways, the way we try to work on these particular parts of the mouse. It was addressing the AI's impact on the society. So there are certain ethics that must be followed when you bring AI into brain mapping. Now, what are they? As an AI research progresses, it's very crucial to address the ethical implications, ensuring transparency, accountability, and fairness in the technology applications. So, what is very important? Transparency is very important when we talk about the ethics. So, clear communication of AI will process a build trust with users and stakeholders. Now, nobody will use an AI tool which is confusing the operator or the user. So, an AI tool must be ethical and it should be very transparent. It should be accountable. Yes, since I'm buying that AI tool as a user, I have full faith on that particular tool. So it should be very accountable. So establishing this accountability can be done by responsibility given for AI decisions, ensuring the ethical standards are maintained and fairness. AI systems must be designed to promote equality and prevent discrimination as a whole. So fairness is very important because I told you that your AI tool cannot be confused. So AI systems must be designed in order to promote equality and prevent the discrimination. What is the timeline like? You can set different kinds of key milestones which are there in the evolution of AI ethics. So if we see the timeline that AI had, is 2016 there was introduction of ethical guidelines. In 2018 there was a global summit on AI ethics. Because before AI entered the market, it was very important that it enter ethically. So establishment of certain regulatory frameworks, they started in 2020, what AI can do, what AI cannot do, how it is impacting the ethical society, how it is hurting the ethical society, how much you are entering a human life. So in 2023, the latest advancements in responsible AI also happened. So this is how different kinds of AI ethics timeline was distributed. So it is the morality and the responsibility. If you see the figure also that it should go hand in hand. So you should be ethical, you should be transparent, you should be accountable, you should be fair. So AI tools, they work with a lot of ethics and responsibility. What are the future directions when we talk about brain mapping, exploring the latest advances in neuroscience? AI is revolutionizing our understanding of brain functions and neural connections in real time. Innovative techniques enhance precision in understanding and identifying the critical areas for treatment and research applications. Then, collaborative between neuroscientists and AI experts will foster groundbreaking developments in cognitive science exploration. Now, this is the brain mapping timeline. You can have an initial research, that is, you can have early literature survey, which is laid on the groundwork for understanding brain functions and structures. Then you can study the new imaging techniques that have significantly improved the technological advancements so that we are able to analyze the brain activity. Then you can go for AI integration, that is, AI algorithms are now used to interpret the complex brain maps and patterns. You can set up certain collaborative projects where your AI is working hand to hand with the neuroscience and the brain mapping by sharing a lot of findings on the brain mapping and the future predictions. That is, innovations will likely lead to breakthroughs in understanding and treating neurological disorders. Exploring the innovative techniques for advanced brain mapping and artificial intelligence research, discover how AI is transforming our understanding of brain mapping. This is nothing by introducing cutting edge methods. We are doing new imaging technologies are there, enhancing our understanding of the brain, enabling AI to better replicate neural processes and improve machine learning outcomes. So, as a whole, I would like to summarize that yes, AI and neuroscience can work hand in hand, and this is very, very important that you must know that yes, AI is a boon if it is following the ethical rules of the society and it is impacting the society in a better way. So, thank you very much for listening me, and thank you very much for being a part of my guest lecture on mapping of AI with the AI technology. Thank you. Signing off, Dr. Dipalata Devashish.